There's a right way and a wrong way to set out your maths workbook. Students who set out their workbooks the right way usually learn a lot more efficiently. They get a lot more learning done in a smaller amount of time. They can also keep track of their work really easily and they always know where they're up to. And they've got a lot more pride in their work as well. They're just proud of the work they do in maths class. So today I'm going to show you how to set out the workbook correctly. On every page of your workbook, you draw a red line down the middle. You don't need to use a ruler for this necessarily. You can just fold the page over or just draw it freehand if you like. But pretty much every page needs that red line. The only exception is when you're working with something that's really wide. So maybe you've got to draw a wide picture and you need that extra space, and then it's okay to skip over the red line. Every activity you start needs a heading. You write the heading in red pen along with today's date in your book. And you put the heading wherever you're up to. You don't need to start a new column or a new page, so do you save space. So when a teacher's looking at your workbook, they're going to see a red line down the middle of each page, and they're going to see red headings with dates. Once you've got your line down the middle of a page and you've got your heading, it's time to actually answer some questions. But first you've got to number them. You use a red pen to do this and you number them 1A, 1B and so on. But the trick here is to only number one question at a time. So if you're up to question 3A, you number 3A, completely answer 3A and get completely finished with it, and then and only then do you write down the B. You shouldn't number 3 A, B, C, D all at once. The reason for that is you don't know ahead of time how much space a question is going to take up. When you're answering a question, you write in your workbook using blue pen or black pen. You don't need to copy out the full text of the question. I mean, sometimes a question will ask you to copy something out, but you do need to include all of your working out, even if that working out is just rough. So when your teacher looks at your workbook, they'll see questions numbered one at a time in red pen and answered with working out in blue pen or black pen. Now we come to the most important part. This is the thing that really separates out those students who do really well on their maths tests and learn really effectively, and it's about how you go about finding and fixing mistakes as you go through your work. Whenever you finish answering a question, the first thing you should do is scroll down to the answers. Have a look at the work solution that's there with the answer, and if your answer is right, you give it a red tick. The trick is to do this completely before moving on to the next question. If you do find a mistake, what you do is cross it out neatly so we can still see the mistake, that's important, but then just fix it up. Get it to the point where it is right, and then you can give it the red tick. So when you look back at your workbook, you're going to see a bunch of red ticks because you've been correcting all your work one at a time. And you'll see a few mistakes neatly crossed out, but you'll also see that you've fixed them all up and given yourself the red tick. So now you know the correct way to set out your workbook as you go through. Nothing too difficult, but you do need to concentrate to make sure it becomes a habit. And then you'll find that you're learning efficiently, you're keeping track of where you're up to, and you're feeling even more proud of your maths.